I believe this is your fourth movie together. So over the course of the last ones, were there any new techniques or things that you guys knew you really wanted to try out on this?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because this was the first movie we've done where, Melissa was on camera by herself a lot of times. So at the beginning of the film. So we leaned heavily on our director of photography, who had the really interesting suggestion to see Melissa through all the different devices that she was talking to, so that it wasn't, just like following her around the house, and we had a little bit more interest in using the camera. So that was an interesting.
It's a big thing to think about, because you don't want to just, I'm talking to a smoke detector, I'm talking to a TV, to a lamp, to all these different things. You do have to kind of use that camera in an active way to keep the POV still interesting. So it was kind of fun to realize how many different ways we could shoot that, and I did think it worked really well.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Speaking of the POV, Ben, did you have it mapped out exactly when we would see the AI's POV, or is that something you find in the edit?
I found it in the edit because what we did was we filmed. We actually used a stills camera to a video setting, and we filmed almost everything from it in different places. So we've got our director of photography, again, it was his idea, Barry Peterson, very smart, nice guy, and so we filmed it from everywhere. And then we could pick and choose in the edit when we wanted to reveal a certain when it's really watching her, because it's a voyeuristic movie at the beginning.
Because it doesn't feel so different when it switches to that. We are all savvy enough to know when it goes to like security type camera feed that somebody's watching someone that's not supposed to be, and it does elicit like an emotional response.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of ratchet up a little tension there in the beginning if we could, and I think it worked. I think so.
So, Melissa, another thing I love to ask about is what a director's tell is. So what does Ben do behind the monitor that signals to you that he is absolutely loving what you're doing?
Do you say kaboom? Wait, what do you say? Do you say Yahtzee or kaboom?
I've been known to say Yahtzee, kaboom.
He does a thing where he goes, and then he does that, and he'll say like kaboom or Yahtzee.
Usually, and I sit next to Sheila Waldron, our longtime script supervisor, and I do a lot of it just to annoy her. But also, you probably must know when the scenes are going well, because I laugh at full volume, because I figured out early on that I can do that, and then the sound team, they're so smart and great that they can take my laughs out as much as they want. So I fully laugh through.
We have such a collaborative way of working that with everybody who's a part of our things, with Bobby or with Gene Smart or Brian, who's so fun in this movie. It's like, we love working with people that are going to pitch ideas, that are going to be like, what about this? What about that? And I think when you stay loose like that, everybody's kind of, nobody's afraid to put in their good idea. And we always think, let's try it all. And then, you have the security of editing later, but everybody usually, you feel when it's headed the right direction.
For sure. And I think, we worked, all those three people that she mentioned are such strong actors that you've got the version of the scene that you need in the first couple of takes, usually, so then you can, have a little fun, play around, and, kind of, the actors discover things as they go, which I think is one of the joys of creativity, right? Is to find what's there that's wonderful. Steve Mallory wrote a great script, so we did it. And then there's like, if there's an extra moment or an extra piece or something that someone discovers, that's all the better.
Push it, yeah.
Absolutely. So Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe you've been in sequels, but you haven't reprised a role yet. So if you had the opportunity to step back into a character from any of your movies, who would you want to pick and why?
I don't think I've been in a sequel.
That's what yeah.
Oh, sorry. I bet you said I had been. I'm like,
no, I think you were like in The Hangover 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
Never your.
I was thinking ours.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I have a weird thing with that, because I fall wonderfully and terribly in love with the women I get to play. I do really feel like I get to know them, and then I miss them, and I feel like I still have to kind of like stand and defend for them. We've talked about a bunch of times doing another one of Spy, just because it was such a fun group.
Please
it's such a, that would be so incredibly fun. But then I think about like I do sometimes think like, where is Tammy now? Like, what's Tammy doing? Like, where did she? I would just love to know like how she's doing. I strangely really think about that sometimes. I've been lucky enough to do a lot of people that I really, really love. And I think if the story was just and really honest, I think I don't think I'm not against a sequel. I actually really like what's happening more now than ever, that people do it 10, 15 years later. I think that when you really are like, yeah, that's a long time. Where is that character now? How have they, is it up or down? That I think could be a cool story to tell.
If the time ever comes, I would like to put in a request for you to revisit your role from The Heat.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. Set it up.
I mean, do it like they did Lord of the Rings. Just get Paul out there and do them both together.
Oh my God. I would do like Heater and Heatus. I do 2, 3, and 4 of The Heat like tomorrow.
I would 100% be there for all of that. So one of my favorite elements of this movie that spoke to me probably too much was the whole dim sum Ken Griffey Jr. thing. So if you had the opportunity to swap in a breakfast food and someone that you could just have a chat with, who would you pick and why?
I don't know that it wouldn't be dumplings. I mean, maybe truly a perfect food. I will stand behind that. I don't know. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and dumplings. David Bowie and dumplings.
Pizza and David Bowie. Pizza and Bob Dylan.
Pizza flavored dumplings, David Bowie and Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg and dumplings.
All right answers.
All right answers. There's no one's losing here.
Avocado toast and RBG.
That sounds like a good combo too. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Congrats on the movie.
Take care.